Hi, in this tutorial we will be working with text. Some of the things that we'll be doing in this tutorial will be selecting, moving, copying text, and using proofing tools. If you go to Lesson 13 and download the Lesson 13 data file, we will have the necessary file that we'll need for this tutorial. Once you download the file and open it, we can see here that we have some information about Mississippi State University, including some text and an image here over to the right hand side on page 2. We can go and make sure that we're on our home tab, and we'll get started off by doing some simple ways to select text. If you want to select a single word, we can just place the cursor over the word and double click it, and that will select the word. If we want to select a sentence, we can just place the cursor anywhere in that particular sentence that we want to select, hold down Control and press and click the mouse button, and that will select the word for us. So again, in order to do that, just say we want to select the last sentence here. We'll place our mouse anywhere within that last sentence, hold down Control and click the mouse, and that's going to select the last sentence for us. And seemingly this is a very long sentence, so if we want to get a better example of that, we could go down here underneath cowbell, the cowbell, that title right there, the second title in the document, and click within that first sentence, press Control and click the mouse, and we can see that it selects that entire sentence. If we want to select just a line of a paragraph or some text that's entered in the Microsoft Word document, we can go over in this left margin here and click anywhere in that left margin, and it's going to select that line for us. And if we wanted to select the entire paragraph, we can triple click within that paragraph and it will select the entire paragraph. And there's always the tried and true way of just putting your mouse in front of the first letter of the word that you want to select, click and drag your mouse to select that text. You can release your mouse, and if you hold Control, you can click and drag again to select text in different areas. So that's just a little trick right there. So just click off into that anywhere in the document to unselect that text. But those are the ways for selecting text. Here, if you on the home tab, make sure that we are on the home tab, and we go over into the paragraph section. You can see this little paragraph editing icon. So you click on this. This is to show hide characters, and this is going to show and hide your non-printing characters. So if we were to press this button, it's going to show us all of our formattings. We can see here we have a paragraph. This was one paragraph. This is what Microsoft Word considers the second paragraph, and it shows that we enter after kinesiology here. This arrow with the bench shaped on the end is to enter. It's similar to the arrow on your keyboard, so they're showing us where we press to enter. And you can see in these other spaces, these little dots between each word, those are where we have a space, and each dot represents a singular space. So if you don't want to show that, if you're doing some type of editing and you're having some type of trouble in Microsoft Word and you're trying to figure out what's going on, that is a good way to figure out the issue that you're having in Microsoft Word by clicking the Show Hide Characters button up here, and it will show you the different characters and what you might have an enter or a space or some other formatting that is causing your document not to render appropriately or the way that you want it to. So we'll go ahead and click that button again to deactivate that. Next, we're going to copy text. So if we're just going to say we want to copy the cowbell, click over here to the right to select it, and we're going to press Control C to copy, and we're going to click behind the L and tab over. Control V will copy that again, and also copy that space. So if we look at the paragraph, so it's going to create a new paragraph, so we can Control Z to get that off of there. But Control C, if we want to paste that again, and just clicking this, deactivating the Show Hide paragraph, we can go up here to paste and click on the image of the clipboard, and it's going to paste that for us again. And we can go ahead and press undo to undo that. If we wanted to cut this, we can select the cowbell. We can go up here to cut, and if we wanted to put it at the end of this document, we can. And what I just did here is I did a feature called click and type. So you can double click anywhere in the document, and the cursor will appear there, so you don't have to press all those spaces and enters. So instead of me pressing enter here, I just double clicked down underneath what is your name on page 2 to insert the cursor underneath that text, and we're going to do a paste with a clipboard. So click on that image again, make sure that you are on the home tab, click on the image of the clipboard above the word paste, and it's going to paste the cowbell. So we're going to go back over here to where it was originally at, and we're just going to paste it again so we can have it back there on that heading. Now if we wanted to move text, we're going to go out to the left hand margin and select the cowbell again to select those two words, and we can click and drag, and you'll see this little dotted cursor, and underneath the arrow of the mouse you'll see a dotted square. So you can click that and drag it, and wherever that cursor is going to be at is where the text will be. So we'll release it, and the cowbell is going to be in front of H2O because we dragged the cursor in front of H2O. Okay, so moving right along, that's how you copy and move text. We are going to look at the find and replace tools in Microsoft Office. So let's see here, we have MSU in here in Mississippi State, and we don't want to use both of these interchangeably, so we're going to go to find, and it's on the home tab all the way over to the far right under the editing section. Click on find. We can just click on find. If you can just click on the little binoculars, or if you click the drop down arrow, just click on find again, and over to the left hand side you'll get a navigation pane, and it has the cowbell in it because that's the word that we have selected, but we don't want to look for that word. We want to look for MSU. So type in MSU, and they found it 3 times in the document. So each one of these tabs here will tell you where you're going to be searching for. So this is going to browse for the results from your current search. This is going to browse to the pages in your document, and this is going to browse the headings in your document. So back to the third option here, the browse the results from your current search. We have 3 instances of MSU, and it highlights it in yellow for us, and we can scroll through the document to see where those instances are, or you can click on these little boxes and it'll jump to it, and it'll also highlight that or darken out that yellow so you can see which instance it is that they're finding. So we found that, but we want to replace MSU with Mississippi State University. So making sure that we are on the home tab again, go back over all the way to the far right under find and click on the replace tab, and we have the find, replace, and go to tabs, and we want to make sure that we are on the replace tab. It says find what, and the options are to search down, but we want to find MSU, so that should be entered in for you already. If not, type in MSU, and we want to replace it with Mississippi State University. So in the replace with box, type in Mississippi State University. And once you have that type in, you can hit replace or replace all, but we're just gonna, for time's sake, we're just gonna hit replace all, and it says reach the end of the document, 2 replacements were made. So it's finished searching if you wanted to double check, and there were no Mississippi MSU text entered into the document, so it did change it all. And we can do the search item was not found. Do you want to search the remainder of the document? No. And then we can hit close. We can see all the Mississippi State University is entered into the document where we had MSU currently. So that's how you use find and replace. Next, the last thing that we're going to talk about in this tutorial is the reference. It is a reviewing. So making sure that we're clicking on the reviewing tab or the review tab. We want to go to this first group here, the proofing group, and we can do the spelling and grammar. So let's click on that spell check. Is what is often referred to as. You can see here it has keep a copy of all your work, save on a flash disk, cloud storage. It's going to give us some suggestions here, and we can pick either one or two if it's not correct. We're just going to say ignore once if we think that's correct, so just ignore. And then it has the spacing is wrong in between this 8 and 12, so we can do change. It's going to change that for us and change for the next spacing error that we have there between the 12 and the comma. Here education was intentionally spelled wrong, and you can see that is indicated by a red squiggly line underneath the word education in the document, or what is supposed to be education. So we see in the spelling and grammar window that is giving us education in red in place of the squiggly line, and it gives us suggested words down here underneath. So you can click on the word, you can hit ignore if the word is spelled properly, so it might be your name. And if it is something like a name or a company, you can add that word to the dictionary here. But we're going to go ahead and change this because we know it's supposed to be education, and that word is misspelled. So we can click on change. That word is changed. And here's an instance where I'm telling the students how to save the file name, and they're bringing this up as an error in spell check, but this is correct. So we'll hit ignore, ignore again, and in the green squiggly lines indicates a grammar error. So this is an example of how I want them to spell their name, but it's coming up as a grammar error in Microsoft Word. And this is going to be the same throughout all Office products. The red line is going to indicate a spelling error, and the green line is going to indicate a grammar error. So here, this is correct. We're going to hit ignore to ignore this, and it is complete. So that is how you do grammar and spelling check. Last thing we're going to do here is the Thesaurus. We're going to pick a word out here. So let's find a word that we could do a good Thesaurus search for. Let's just search for community. So when doing a search in Thesaurus, what we're going to do is double click the word that we want to change, community, here in the first sentence. And with that, we're going to go down the Thesaurus list and look, and we see population. So that's the word we want to do. And make sure that community is selected, and we can just hit insert, and it replaces that word for us. That is how you do text edits in Microsoft Office and doing some basic proofing in Microsoft Office and Word. So hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial, and look forward to seeing you on the next video.